Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. OG DFS. I'm your host for this show. This is the NBA GPP Daily Tournament Selection Show, where we just go over FanDuel GPP tournament selections and possibilities based off of FanDuel's pricing. So we're not here to talk about DraftKings, Yahoo, and their pricing. Only FanDuel for their GPP, NBA, and other sports for their GPP, their guaranteed prize pool tournaments only. I'm a GPP player, and I know there's a lot of other GPP players like me that want a show like this that only specifically focuses on FanDuel. You watch a lot of these other programs and they're great. They give you all the information, but they're very confusing. Some of the analysts only focus on DraftKings pricing, or, they don't specifically talk about FanDuel. Everybody references, based off of DraftKings pricing and it being cheap there. I'm not a DraftKings player. I don't like DraftKings. I'm a FanDuel player. I love FanDuel, and I like what looks good based off FanDuel pricing. So that's why I created this show to be a help to you guys and myself to help, give picks. So, make sure you hit this like button, and then make sure you subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with all the great content that I'll try to offer you guys. And let's get right into the slate for today. So at the point guard position, obviously you got, Russell Westbrook here at 11,400. When you look at his stats, he hasn't really been getting you that 6x or better type value. So even though Minnesota's a great matchup for him, I'm not really on Russell Westbrook, at that price. I'm going to see if I can find some better plays, but he's always an option in a GPP tournament. Looking down under him, Ben Simmons, you got Joel Embiid out. Jimmy Butler had a tag on him designated. We'll see how that goes. Keep an eye on that. But Ben Simmons, look at the stats, 59.5, 51. And, when you look at his price point at just $9,900, he can, obviously get you around 5X. It's against Orlando. Their defense has been kind of stingy, but Ben Simmons, obviously, another good pick, 9,900. Steph Curry, here's a guy I really like tonight. Him and Kyrie always go at it. I think Kyrie will bring the best out of Steph. And when you look at Steph Curry, he's pricing at 9,400. Excellent play at home in Golden State. You got to love Steph tonight. Dropping down, I do like Kyrie just a tad, but his performance hasn't been good. So if you're looking for the upside, those are all players with good upside. I'm going to go down here to Darren Collison. Right now, no Sabonis. So Collison been performing well. I could see Collison getting you 5X. Drop down a little further on the mid-tier pricing. You got Jeff Teague, 6,300 going up against OKC. It should be a good spot for Teague. He hasn't been performing up to par, but if he, gets back to his normal day, you can see a lot and expect big things from Jeff Teague. This is a player I like tonight, y'all. I like Corey Joseph. At his price tag, he put up a 41 and a 26.8, respectively against Minnesota and Dallas. Tailed off just a tad against Orlando, but at the same time, their defense is good right now. He's going from Orlando's D to Chicago. You got to like Corey Joseph tonight at only 4,500. He's my, the lowest I'll go in terms of a point guard position in a GPP on FanDuel. At the shooting guard position, when we get to the shooting guards, obviously, everybody's going to love James Harden. It's either hit or miss with him. He's put up a 61 and a 92 his last few games. He's on beast mode right now. So you got to look out. Obviously, Toronto's a great team. They're one of the best in the league. Tough matchup in Toronto. On FanDuel, I'm going to go ahead and try to go ahead and fade Harden and see if I can come up with better value. When I drop down, because guard's been doing well, Lillard's a little, his price is a little high. I like CJ McCollum. If you look at, two of his last 4 games, he got a 46 and a 47 against Cleveland and Toronto. Didn't have a good game against Charlotte. He's definitely going to be looking to bounce back. CJ McCollum, at his price tag, 7,300, is definitely a GPP option. A little bit under. Got to check the status of Avery Bradley through the day. He is considered probable, which is a great thing. Look at his stats lately. 2 of the last 3 games, 43, 46 against OKC. Avery Bradley having a renaissance, going back to the old AB, baby. You know what I'm saying? He's doing real good right now. So you definitely can't ignore Avery Bradley at just 5,900. Excellent play on FanDuel for the GPP. Dennis Schrader, 5,600 right under him. I might key with both of those guys. Look at Schrader. He finally kind of caught up to the usage and what he needed to do based off Paul George not being in. If Paul George is not in today, you got to lock in Dennis Schroder. He definitely is going to probably garner a lot of ownership. But at the same time, things do change during the day. You definitely want to stay on top of Paul George's situation and definitely go ahead and lock in Schrader. When you drop down a little further, I do like Eric Gordon somewhat. Eric Gordon has been performing well, put up a 43 last time against Boston, 37 against Golden State. Another big high-profile game against Toronto, in Toronto, but at his price tag of just 5,300, gotta love Eric Gordon today. In terms of any other lower plays, one guy I really like is Josh Okogie. His last game against Washington, he got into early foul trouble. I watched it. He couldn't get into any type of rhythm whatsoever. If Okogie comes back and he's right and he gets a clean run at OKC, I definitely expect big things. Put up almost a 30 against Atlanta a few back on the 27th of February. I could see big things from Okogie today at just 3,700 is an excellent value play in the GPP on FanDuel. Going to the small forward position, the way the slate's looking, obviously you got Paul George. He's been questionable lately with his injuries. He's trying to heal him up, get him ready for the playoffs. So if he sits out again, we'll definitely roll with those other OKC players. There's one more I want to mention when we get to the power forward position. You may know who that is already, but definitely keep an eye on George's status through the day. Kevin Durant going up against Boston. Kevin Durant always shows up for big games, and this will be no exception. He'll definitely be there. It's just based off of how, the roster construction may be set up today. I'm looking at Kevin Durant, and also if he plays, Kawhi Leonard put up a 56 against Portland, 2-back, didn't play last against Detroit, but you got to love Kawhi. I could see an easy stack with Kawhi and Durant. If you don't want to go with the high-price guys and want to mix it up, on the mid-tier, drop right down to Otto Porter. Boom. He coming right back. 2 of his last games, 49, 46 against Memphis. Been playing very well. Didn't play last game in that, second right back against Atlanta. Otto Porter, solid option. Keep an eye on him. $7,400. Great play. And definitely hit value. If not, he's got a little, can get you more. Bojan Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic put up 35, 50. The last 2 games, his usages went up a little bit with Sabonis being out. And then in the result, so his fantasy production. 50 against Minnesota. Once again, 35 against Orlando. Doing real well right now. Gotta like the matchup against Chicago. So you could either go with a Durant Leonard or come down with Porter Bogdanovic. If you want to drop down a little further, one guy who has been performing well, even though Memphis, historically, you think of their D, but Harkless has been doing great. And at that price tag, 37 a few back against Boston, he can definitely hit value and exceed. He's got definitely room and cushion there at his price tag to get you exceed value there. That's about all I like small forward. Let's drop down to the power forward position. At power forward, Lauri Markkanen going up against Indy. They don't have Sabonis, so little thin there. I could see Markkanen having a big game. When you look at his game log, Markkanen 59 against Atlanta. It was an overtime game. 47 against Milwaukee, 39 again on that second game back against Atlanta, 58 against Boston. Markkanen been playing real good basketball lately. I could see him having a big game in that matchup. Tobias Harris, once again, no Embiid. At the top options, Tobias been playing well, 49.5, 47.5. He been balling. Now they going up against Orlando, better D. As of late, Orlando, one of the better teams in the league as of late. Defensively, but at home in Philly, Tobias will be trying to take control of that game. Jimmy Butler's, believes questionable. So, with those things being said, Tobias and Ben Simmons are definitely great options for Philly. So keep an eye on that. Obviously Pascal Siakam, one of the better power forwards in the league, been performing pretty well at his price tag. More to me of a cash game play, but I definitely like Siakam. Thaddeus Young, boom. No Sabonis. They've been raising his price tag. To me, his ceiling is about a 40. So when you think of that, he's about a 5x value guy, pretty much for sure. Great day, you can get 6 to 7x. Keep him in mind. Draymond Green against Boston. Man, shows up for big games. 37.8 versus Philly last time. Only $6,500. You got room for upside there with him. Definitely can get you in the 40s for sure. Here's my guy from OKC, boy Jeremy Grant. You know, he basically had put up a 33 against Philly. Tough defense, San Antonio, 20.7. Stepped it back up at home against Memphis. With Paul George being out, get you about a 30 burger. I believe in this peso spot, with against Minnesota, that Grant, no Paul George, can get you maybe 35 to 45 points tonight. I can really see that happening. You definitely want to be able to envision these players getting what you're looking for. They got to be able to get what you're looking for out of them. So I definitely can see that. Now, Sarge has not on the lower plays. His minutes been going down, and actually as a result, if you look at Taj Gibson stepped it up 31-27. Boom. Taj Gibson 4,800. Excellent play under 5K. One more guy, Serge Ibaka. When last time you seen Serge Ibaka under 5K is crazy. Marc Gasol's getting all the run now. But you got to think, if Marc Gasol get into any foul trouble, things that you can see that happening in this physical game against Houston. Obviously, Ibaka could get the run back in late February. San Antonio put up a 36. Been in the teens ever since. But keep an eye on that status with Serge Ibaka. Mike Scott, with Embiid being out. I do like Mike Scott, put up almost a 30 against the Warriors. He's in the 20s as of late, and trying to hit that 30 mark. I definitely like Mike Scott. Bolton, tough matchup. His ceiling looks slightly limited to me. He can hit the 20s for you for sure, but may have a little trouble with Vucevic. So you could take your pick with either one of those. Down here, look at TJ Leaf though. 2 games back, the 2 and 3 games back, 24.6 and a 21 against Dallas. Tailed off against that tough Orlando D, but depending on if this has a blowout script against Chicago, TJ Leaf might be able to see some extra run. If he gets you into the 20s, look out. As a minimum price option and may have low ownership. And that's what I like at the power forward position. Let's go ahead and move down to the center position. The big cat, Karl Anthony Towns. Cat been balling lately, y'all. He had that car accident. I'm glad he's okay because he done came back a new man. Put up almost 70 against Sacramento, again against Atlanta. Indiana stayed consistent. And then Washington tailed off but still had a great game. Karl Anthony Towns at 11.5 is probably one of the best plays of the day of all the big men, at the center position. Can definitely be the top DFS point player on the evening. So look out for him. And then you got to also watch out for Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic been balling. Put up a 60 last time against Cleveland. No Embiid. Easy matchup. Could put up a 60 burger again. If you want to drop down to the cheaper players, you got to look at mid-price. Marc Gasol, Toronto Raptors, been getting all that playing time that Ibaka hasn't been getting. He been balling, y'all. So high 40s, around 40 mark or more. You got to look out for Marc Gasol dropping down. I really don't like any other of the lower price players. Obviously, you could look at a guy like Enes Kanter. His minutes been dropping down, but he can get some quick production. He's a high point per minute player. Robin Lopez actually been getting the minutes though, and he's been 30 to 40 minutes a game, getting you in the mid 30s. Much safer play, even for GPP. I still like Robin Lopez because he can get you 6-7x easy. Noah's minutes been dropping down, but even with little minutes, he can easily get you into the 30s. So you want to watch out for Joakim Noah. In Memphis, I believe Jackson's still out. Rob has a questionable tag, I believe, on him. So keep that in mind as well. And one last guy, definitely, Miles Turner. Miles Turner hasn't been up to par what he normally is, but against Chicago, you've seen what Atlanta just did in a few games against him. Miles Turner, great price, 7,500. I could see him doing big things. So that is the DFS GPP tournament selection show for the NBA. This is your boy, Mr. OG DFS. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned. Appreciate any viewers. Leave any comments or feedback of how, the fluidity of the show. And I'll try to improve as we go along. I just wanted to get in, have my voice heard in terms of daily fantasy. I actually follow a lot of the other outlets. Awesemo, they're great. Draft Dashboard, Chris from Draft Dashboard. You got the DFS Bachelor, and I think they got Sal Verdi, and you got all these good. Make sure you go check them out. Gundacker from Run DFS. Check them out too. So it's a lot of good guys out there who very informative. Obviously got great information for you. I just want to present my point of view from FanDuel, from a GPP perspective. All I play really is GPP. I'm not really a cash game player. It's fun. I like the being able to compete. I'm very competitive. So I grew up in horse racing, handicapping horses. And so, now I'm handicapping humans. It's just, you can use the stats. Same way with horse racing is the same way with doing daily fantasy sports. That's why I love it. I really enjoy daily fantasy sports. And just stay tuned, and big things to come. And you guys have a great day. Peace.